Sophia stared at the doll. It was her birthday. This was her gift. A chill ran down her spine. The doll was old. Its porcelain skin was cracked. Its once vibrant dress was faded and torn. And its eyes, they seemed to pierce through Sophia. "Great Aunt Millie's doll," Mom said. She loved her very much, but Mom's voice shook a little. Sophia tried to smile. She hugged the doll. It felt strangely cold. She had a terrible feeling about this. The eyes. Sophia couldn't shake the feeling they followed her. Everywhere she went in her room, the doll's eyes seemed to track her movements. One night she woke up suddenly. The moon cast an eerie glow through her window. And there, on the rocking chair, sat the doll. It hadn't been there before. Sophia's breath caught in her throat. The doll's head tilted, its lips curved into a sinister smile. Sophia squeezed her eyes shut, wishing it all away. When she opened them again, the doll was back on the shelf, but the smile lingered. The nightmares started. They were unlike any Sophia had ever experienced before. Whispers, cold and chilling, filled Sophia's dreams. They seemed to come from the shadows, wrapping around her like a cold embrace. A voice called her name over and over. It was relentless, echoing in the silence of the night. Then things started to move. At first it was subtle. A book falling off the shelf, a chair slightly out of place. Toys clattered to the floor in the middle of the night. The sound was deafening in the stillness, making her heart race. Doors creaked open and slammed shut. The noise echoed through the house, sending shivers down her spine. Sophia's parents dismissed it. Just the old house settling, they said. But Sophia knew better. She could feel the presence lurking. One night she woke to the same chilling voice, but this time it wasn't in her head. It was real and it was close. It was coming from the doll. "Sophia," it hissed. The doll's head turned slowly, its eyes gleaming in the dark. It stared right at her. Sophia screamed, her voice piercing the night. Her parents rushed in, alarmed by her cries, but when they looked at the doll, it just sat there, lifeless. They couldn't see what Sophia saw, the malevolent spirit within. Section 4. Fleeing the Curse. "It's the doll!" Sophia cried, pointing at the grinning figure. Her voice trembled with fear and her eyes were wide with terror. The doll seemed to mock her, its grin growing wider. Her parents exchanged worried glances. They didn't believe her. They thought it was just her imagination running wild. But they could see the terror in her eyes, a terror that was too real to ignore. But they could see the terror in her eyes. It was a fear that no child should ever have to experience. They knew they had to do something, so they decided to get rid of the doll. They wrapped it in an old cloth, hoping to contain whatever evil it held. They placed it in a box, sealing it away from their home. They took it far away to a dusty old donation bin. The bin was in a desolate area, far from their home. They hoped that by leaving it there, the curse would be broken. Sophia watched as they drove away, the doll shrinking in the distance. She felt a sense of relief wash over her, as if a heavy weight had been lifted from her shoulders. That night, Sophia slept soundly for the first time in weeks. The nightmares were gone, the whispers were silent, the doll was gone. It was finally over. Or so she thought. Little did she know the curse was far from broken. The doll's sinister presence lingered, waiting for the right moment to return. Section 5. The Antique Shop of Horrors. In a quaint little antique shop downtown, a new display was being set up. The shop was filled with an assortment of relics from the past, each with its own story to tell. The owner, a kindly old man, dusted off a beautiful porcelain doll. His hands moved with the care and precision of someone who had spent a lifetime preserving history. He smiled, charmed by its old-world elegance. The doll's delicate features and intricate design were a testament to the craftsmanship of a bygone era. He didn't notice the faint, chilling glow in the doll's eyes. It was almost as if the doll had a life of its own, a hidden secret waiting to be discovered. He didn't hear the soft, sinister giggle that echoed from its painted lips. The sound was barely audible, a whisper in the stillness of the shop. He placed the doll carefully on a shelf, surrounded by other forgotten treasures. Each item on the shelf seemed to watch with silent anticipation. He didn't realize he was placing it directly in the path of his next customer. The doll's eyes seemed to follow him as he walked away. A young girl browsing the shop with her mother stopped short. Her eyes were drawn to the doll as if it had cast a spell on her. "Mummy," she breathed, eyes wide with wonder. Her voice was filled with a mix of awe and curiosity. "Look at the pretty doll," she exclaimed, pointing at the porcelain figure. The doll's eyes seemed to twinkle in response, as if acknowledging the girl's admiration.